What's up everybody? Welcome to Random Fill Friday. We're in the month of June, so our fills are going to be in 6. So let's go ahead and start drawing the notes out and see what our final rhythm is. We start off with an eighth note on beat 1, an eighth note on beat 2, and then two 16th notes starting on beat 3, which gives us 3 and. So here's what beats 1 through 3 sound like together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, and. From beat 4 to the rest of the fill, we have what's called a duplet. So let's talk a little bit about that. In 6/8, your measure is divided into 2 dotted quarter notes. 2 dotted quarter notes gives you 3 eighth notes. Now normally, if we were in a time signature of 2/4, we would have 2 quarter notes dividing the measure, which gives us 2 eighth notes per quarter note. So that duplet is going to give more of a straight feel compared to the swung feel of 6/8, which is more triplet based. So let's talk about the placement of the duplet. The first eighth note of the duplet is going to go right on the downbeat of 4. The second eighth note is going to go on the and of 5. So let's hear what beats 4 through 6 sound like. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and. Now you can hear it's more straight compared to the triplets that are going to be common in this time signature. So let's go ahead and hear what the entire rhythm sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and. Alright, so we're going to have some fun with this. Let's go ahead and throw it on the drum set for a fill.
We're going to put the eighth note that's on beat 1 on the snare as a flam. The second eighth note is going to go on the bass drum, and then the two 16th notes are going to go on the floor tom and then the snare drum. So let's hear what beats 1 through 3 sound like.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and.
The first eighth note duplet starting on beat 4 is going to go on open hi-hat and bass drum together. The second eighth note duplet, which is on the and of 5, is going to go on open hi-hat and snare drum. So let's go ahead and hear what the rest of the rhythm sounds like.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and.
Now let's go ahead and put the whole fill together.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1.
Let's go ahead and put this fill to a more up-tempo groove now that we have it all together.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and.
I think that fill fits very well with the Afro-Cuban funk groove that I was playing earlier. Now, if you like this fill or any of the past RFF fills, record yourself playing it and send it to any of my social media accounts. I'd love to see how you're doing with it, and at the end of the month, you have a chance to get featured. So excited to see you next week. Stay inspired, everybody.